Welcome to 2021, everybody. What's going on? It's Elwood, and welcome back to Rock On Studio Live, the one and only web series here that puts you one-on-one with all your favorite rock stars, your metal artists, hardcore. We do it all. And this is the first show of 2021. And I'm super excited about my guests today because they're one of my favorite bands, and I have not got a chance to meet them. So this will be cool for me. Before we get into it, make sure you subscribe. Listen, I know it's annoying, okay? You hear it all the time. Click the subscribe button. But it really helps us go a long way in help spreading the show and success of it as well. So give me a little pop on the subscribe button and check out all the past interviews, man. Got some big ones. Corey Taylor's got the new song out, Samantha's Gone. Had a great conversation with him about CMFT. Chris Motionless, always a good time. Taylor Momsen and the Pretty Reckless have their record coming out next month. They got a new single with Tom Morello. You can check out my conversation with her as well. Brent Smith of Shinedown, LaJean Witherspoon of Seven Dust. Everybody you love and rock. And what I love about this show more than any other, it's interactive. So if you got a comment, if you got a question, just drop it below. We'll get it up on the screen and we'll do our best to try to get to all of them. All right. But without further ado, introducing to Rock On Studio Live today, by far one of my favorite bands. You know, when you get that band or that song that you just can't stop listening to, every time you pick up your phone and you go to a playlist, every time you hit up Spotify, it's always that one. And this is that one for me. So I'd like to proudly introduce live from the UK, Sam Carter of the Architects. How you doing, my man? What's going on?
I'm very good, man. Very good. Very happy to be here.
First off, how the fuck are you in the UK, man? I know how we're doing over there. From what we see on the news is you guys had like another variant, super spreader, shutting down. So are you kind of trapped at home like the rest of us as well?
Yeah. You better believe it, man. We are in the middle of third lockdown now, and yeah, we're going around the fucking ringer right now. It's brutal for so many people. I think just the best thing that I feel like I'm doing the best thing that we can do, which is just stay at home and just minimize contact and not see anyone. So yeah, just sort of waiting for the world to come back to normal, and when it's ready, then we'll be out on tour.
So let's talk about the single first. We got a new record coming out for those that wish to exist, February 26th, worldwide. That'll be hitting. The first single, Animals, was the first song you dropped. It's your highest charting song right now, already on the US rock charts and continuing to grow. So take us a little bit behind the scenes. You guys do so much when it comes to lyrics of songs, of what it means to you. And take us behind the scenes of Animals and what it means to you in that band.
Well, I think it's really, I think in terms of the whole record, we've done a lot of, I think, sort of talking about what we feel like we would like people to do and how we feel like we could change the world. But I think actually with this record, it was really important to kind of just commentate on what's going on. We're in this weird sort of unprecedented time where everything seems to be sort of falling apart and in each other's faces, and whether it be climate change or whatnot, it's all sort of there in the news. So I think for us it was just important to kind of just commentate on what was going on, really, and just sort of go through the highs and lows of life at the moment. And this song, I feel, is kind of straight out of the bat of like, do we want to continue? Do we want to thrive? And some days you're like, nah, it's too hard. But I think that's what goes through the record. Is it's very hopeful in some spots, and then in others it's very real. So yeah.
So you're sitting there, you're at your own place. You got your is it the 9th album? Is this the 9th studio album? How crazy is that to think back after all those years and all the changes and everything you've been through, and now you have your highest charting song, and it's the 9th record. It's finally coming out, and you're stuck in a fucking pandemic, and you can't get out and tour. It's got to be a weird feeling for you.
Oh, it's so strange, man. I think especially for us, I think what's been so weird, and we often talk about it, it's always like every album, it just seems to just get bigger, and it just feels like, and also when it happens, it feels like we get more stoked on it, but just because we're just so happy, like, and just been doing it so long, and it just feels like yeah, all our work that we put into always trying to make sure the next record is bigger and better, and you know, all those sleepless nights, it really comes across, I think, and people really connect with it.
Yeah, Architect's huge overseas, playing some massive shows from arena shows to large festivals, making their way into the US here. You've already had sold out shows and tours in the past. And I know this new record would have just been great to tour on, which I want to get into some of the cameos on this record. Winston McCall,
Yeah,
by far one of my favorite vocalists of all time, head of Parkway Drive, another one of my favorites. On top of all that, you got you got Mike from Royal Blood on it.
yeah,
You got Simon from Biffy Clyro. How did you get the
yeah.
biggest names from rock all throughout Europe and get them onto this record? How did that go?
I think the good thing with that scene, with the sort of rock and metal scene, is it's all so intertwined, and I think a lot of it just came from like a real sort of place of we were listening to like a few hip hop records and like a couple of Kendrick Lamar records, um, early days of writing, and we just thought about how cool it is when sometimes there can be like three or four singers and rappers on a track, and it's something that we hadn't done in a long time. We'd never like even considered a guest since Lost Forever. um so it just felt like the right time, especially with the fitting tracks on the record, to kind of explore that world. Because when you listen to those kind of songs, each rapper or singer brings like it could be the same beat underneath, but the section is given such a breath of fresh air. And also, all three of the people that are on there have got such different voices, but are so amazing at what they do. Um, with Mike, it was so easy because Mike and Ben are like two of my best mates, and we hang out all the time. And me and Ben grew up together. We lived on the same street, in a real small town where I'm from. And yeah, Mike's such an amazing singer that it was just like, do you want to sing on the record? And he just said yeah, and came down and did it. With Winston, we've been friends with them for so long. We did their first London show. They took us to Australia the first time, and we've kind of just
I think we got a little bit of a freeze up. All right, we'll give him a second here to catch back up. And by far, man, on this record, Winston McCall Parkway, he's going to bring something different. Mike Kerr of Royal Blood, I can only imagine what that track is going to sound like. And Simon from Biffy Clyro, if you know anything about Biffy, another one of these massive bands in Europe's, they play stadiums, they play arenas, and they come over to the States and they play a lot of small clubs and more. So it's kind of cool to see them on both sides of the pond and how they interact, which I thought was great that he just said that they are all really good friends. And in the rock and metal scene, you can put them all together really well. And that's a great look. Kendrick Lamar can do it, then rock can do it at the same time. Got
hello
you back. Got you back. Good to go.
back safe and sound.
Good, because I was just about to start doing my dance and I didn't know how it was going to work out to kill time. I was like, I don't know if this is going to fucking work, man.
COVID's got into the internet over here as well. Mine just decided to die. Why not?
It's killing everything. The damn
Yeah.
virus affects everything. So I was just talking when you were off about how Kendrick Lamar and everybody has different people come on the tracks to give it a different feel. And that's awesome that you have friends that do it. Do you give them an insight like this is what the song is about? These are my lyrics, or do you just say, here's the track, give me some lyrics coming over it?
I think what we did with all these guests is we sent over like a guide of what I'd done in the demos, and we were just like, this is the sort of vibe that we're looking for. These are the lyrics, but make it your own. I think that's the cool thing about getting them on there is like, here's a basic skeleton of it, but like we want you to really bring this section to life because you know there's no point in them trying to sound like me or me trying to sound like them. You know, it's like we'll just go in there and give it your all.
Did you have any opportunities where people sent you something and you go, bro, this sucks. Can you cut me another verse?
No, thank God they're all.
Don't lie. Don't you fucking lie.
No, they're all very professional. So you know, you kind of know before it. You're like it's in their best interest for it to be very good.
That's true. That's true. They're not going to send you crap. They're not, and everybody's got plenty of time that they could probably redo it as many times as
And
they
if
wanted
it
at this point.
if it was crap, I'd have just put it out and just put them on blast and just been like, this is what your favorite band is trying to do to mine.
Which is so good. We're live in Rock On Studio. Architects' new single "Animals" out now. For those that wish to exist, the 9th studio album from our good friends out of the UK. I want to ask you this question: does metalcore, post, whatever anybody wants to consider it now? There's 27 different genres of metal and everything else. Do you get a lot of how is the radio airplay in the UK and throughout Europe with a band like yours or a band like Parkway Drive? Is there a lot of radio push there?
There's a few really good stations. There's obviously like Kerrang Radio, a lot of digital radio stations, but Radio One is like probably the biggest radio station in the UK. It's like, millions and millions of listeners at every time. And that radio station has always been like really supportive of us. But they have an actual like rock radio show as well, which is done by our friend Daniel P. Carter. And he's been a friend of ours since the beginning. But actually, we've been playlisted on Radio One with Animals. So yeah, throughout the day, in between sort of Justin Bieber and like Selena Gomez, you just hear Animals, which is so wicked.
That's great.
Yeah, and that's one of the cool things about this song is I feel like it's kind of, in a weird way, sort of genreless. It's kind of like it's there for everybody to kind of enjoy it. Like if you're a metalhead, you love it because it's got the stomping riffs and. Yeah, I think from like a pop sense, I don't know how we managed to do it, but it seems to have like crossed into that world. But yeah, the support from radio has been mental for us on this, and I mean, especially in America, it's blown our minds really.
So you've got to play the biggest venues all throughout Europe. Is there one venue or show that you stood there on stage, looked around, and said, holy fuck, we made it. We're actually here. We're headlining this show and we're doing it. Is there one show that will always stand out to you?
Yeah, when we did Ali Pali, which is like a 10,000 cap room in London, and that I think that sold out like 2 months in advance or something. And it's just a flat room. So when you go out on stage, it's literally like you see 10,000 people, rather than the sides and everything, which is also wicked. But it was literally like 10,000 people going crazy. And it reminded me of like, do you remember those old like Hellfest DVDs, like the classic ones where it was like in the air hangers? It's like that, but it's like a really prestigious venue in the UK. And also we did Wembley after it as well, which was absolutely incredible. Like going out on stage and saying, all right, Wembley to like all your fans is like a dream come true. So yeah, we've done some crazy stuff, and I hope the most insane stuff's yet to come.
I hope so, man. So obviously breaking huge here in the US already with the new single. For anybody that is just getting into the band, saying they heard Animals, who are these guys? I love these guys. Not knowing you've been around for 9 albums already, not knowing you played Wembley in these massive shows. Yeah. Take me behind the scenes for you to a brand new listener of the Architects and say, if you come to a live show, this is what you're going to get from us. And this is the power of the Architects.
Well, I think we've been touring so hard since we were kids, since like our first record. We've sort of been like an international touring band since then, really, since like 07, I imagine, maybe 06. But yeah, we toured in America off our first record. We've toured every America every time we've released a record, and we've worked from the ground up. It's not a overnight success story in music these days. It's very rare to like get signed and become like a ginormous act. So yeah, we just worked really hard, and now we're a really fucking good band. And there's some okay records and some really good records. So yeah, we're very, very professional now.
Rock On Studio Live with Elwood. Make sure to subscribe. I got Sam Carter here with the Architects with me. You can check out past interviews and more. Brand new record, February 26th, for those that wish to exist. You can pre-order that record now. And I know a bunch of people actually in radio who have pre-ordered the record.
Amazing.
Because, supporting the band and getting ready. If you haven't heard Animals yet, trust me, man. It's the #1 streaming song on the rock charts in the US, which is a huge feat. Being in the top 20 already, but out streaming Foo Fighters. You're outstreaming all these massive bands on top of the charts, outstreaming all of them and below them on the charts, which is so awesome to see that fans are that dedicated and seeing the outpouring of love. Because that's the cool thing about streaming. Yeah, it screws over the musician. We know musicians don't get the money that they deserve from streaming services, but it is an instant outlook to seeing how people are reacting, right? On the positive side of things.
Well, I think the good thing with it is as well is like, for a long time, it looked like that was just going to be gone. For a long time, it looked like it was just people just were going to be able to download your music for free. And I think what's great now is like, even if it is a small percentage, it's still cool that you can put out the quality of music that you want. It's not some like dodgy download that someone's got and it's like all sounds all shit. You put your artwork up in high quality, you put your single up, and people all around the world can all hear it at the same time, and that's really special. What's amazing is with the streaming numbers is when you go on there, you can see how many people are listening at the same time, and that's always mind blowing when you're like, wow, this many people don't even know it, but they're all listening to the same song at the same time.
Instant gratification. That's the world we live in now. We want it. We want it now.
Exactly. Right? No, exactly. And then people, what I love as well is like people now, if they really love something, are like going out and buying the vinyl, and supporting the band that way, and actually being able to still enjoy having that piece there in front of you is really special. And we put a lot of work into this album and actually mastering, like doing a separate mastering for vinyl and making sure that sounded as good as it could and added some extra bits on there as well. So it's really cool.
That's how I'll be listening. I'm one of those vinyl guys. Is vinyl because here in the U.S., vinyl is the number one way of people buying music now, besides streaming. Is it that way in the UK? Is vinyl coming back big time?
Yeah, man, it's massive. I think, like I'm a massive vinyl head. Like I love it. I've got an insane collection of like old Beatles records to all the way up to like the music that we put out now. It's amazing. There's nothing quite like being able to put a record on and just move away from it. I think especially with music on our phones, and we're so fidgety and so used to just picking it up and going like, oh, next. Now you actually get to, when you put a record on, you get to listen to it as the artist kind of intended, and I think that's really special.
Beautiful. So buy the vinyl. Is the vinyl available for the new record immediately, or that be at a later time?
Yeah, it's available now for pre-order. So it's I think it's up on Kings Road, our US store out there, and there's a bunch. If you go on our website, I'm sure there's a bunch of links to go to it. Well, I hope there is.
Yeah, architectsofficial.com, everything you need to know about picking up the new record and checking everything about the band. Before we go, I just want to touch on the live show, Royal Albert Hall, right? I mean, that a big famous venue there? Because I've seen a lot of bands doing live streaming shows from there. Just massive and beautifully done with the production and the lights. How is that doing that for that live stream?
Yeah, amazing, man. Royal Albert Hall is like such a prestigious venue in the UK. Like, the Stones have played there, Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, you name it, they've played it. And it's so cool to be in there. And with the live stream, we wanted to do something really special and make it a cut above what other people were doing, because it was nice to get together and really focus on something. We hadn't seen each other properly since the record. We'd all been in lockdown, not able to see each other. So to actually get this project on the way and be able to get rehearsals together and have the production days and get everyone in the same room and all of our crew, it was really special. And the time we put into getting the right audio team on board and the right production, I think it really came off, and I think people were really happy with it.
So I got to ask this question because I've been wondering with bands, with the live streams usually available for like 72 hours. What do you do with it after that? Is this something that's going to be put out onto a DVD at a later time, released for the whole public to see? Is this something in future plans that you got?
Yeah, I think we're just sort of taking it by day, really. Like, the plans for it are constantly changing. But I think what's so cool with it is because it was so special, there is so many of those routes to go down, whether you want to put it out for like record store day and help like independent record stores, or whether you can get it online or, get some Blu-rays out. But yeah, I think, once the album's out, we'll start thinking about what we can do with it, because yeah, as you say, like we put so much time into it, it would be such a shame for it to just disappear,
That's what I keep asking. Everyone's like 72 hours, it's gone. I was like, I'll pay another $17. Just let me keep it.
Yeah,
Let me get it so
yeah,
I can watch it anytime.
that's it. That's it.
And fans always want to know. We haven't heard the record. We have heard 3 songs off of it already. But is there one track on the new record for those that wish to exist that you can't wait to perform live, or we should say is your favorite track on the record?
I really like I really like Impermanence with Winston. I really like that song. It's got a lot of groove and it's got a really great breakdown on it, which I'm a really big fan of. But then also I love Dying is Absolutely Safe, which is the last song off the record. Well, I think that's maybe one of the coolest songs we've ever done. So yeah, both of those two.
Well, I can't wait to hear it, man. February 26th, for those that wish to exist, the 9th studio record from the Architects will be out worldwide. Until then, check out the 3 tracks that have already been released. You can go to architectsofficial.com for pre-orders of the new record. And of course, wherever you're watching this, you have a local rock radio station, hopefully, because a lot of areas don't. But when they do, man, make sure to call them, email them, do whatever you can and say, I want to hear Animals, because it goes a
Yeah,
long way for rock radio all across the country using that support, dude.
absolutely. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, Sam, thank you so much for hanging out with us in Rock On Studio Live. To everybody watching and hanging out, make sure you click that subscribe button. Dude, I can't wait to hear the record. I can't wait to get it on vinyl and then back live in person. I've
Oh, man.
never wanted to have somebody shove me from behind and punch me in the side of the head so much. I mean, doing this for a long time, I'll probably only hang out there for a song or two and then go back to a safe area, but I want to get punched in the face so bad.
I feel you, man. I can't, honestly, I can't even begin to describe how much I miss it. And yeah, that connection and just seeing rooms erupt is, yeah, it's incredible.
I miss the smell of BO and old alcohol and smoke and all that in my face. I miss all of that, as weird as that sounds.
I'm completely with you. I agree.
That's Sam Carter. My name is Elwood, and this is Rock On Studio Live. Get that Architects record. We'll see you again next time. Thanks for hanging out with us. Stay metal.